So I thought I'd just show you my swarm trapping box. I'll try and explain what it is. It's a box that's made of light ply that I use if I have a swarm that I don't have a hive ready for, and if, for instance, I know I can, for example, catch a swarm fairly easily, or if it's on top of a shrub or something like that and I can knock the bees in, I can then turn the box on its side, and what happens, I can put in the floor. This is the base when the door's closed, okay? I put that in like that, and when the back is closed, the front isn't. So that's the bottom closed now. The bees can't get out there, but if you look there, bees can still come and go. So what I do, when I get the bees, I'll show you in a minute. I basically stand it up like that, and then the bees can come and go, and a lot of them fall down initially, and then most of them will come out the front, and then they'll start fanning. And then when they start fanning, they draw the others in. Now, all the time, this front lip acts as a door, and the bees know they can come and go, and they're not put off at all by it. So when they're all in, you just do this. You just close it up, and it shuts closed. So then you've got the bees in, but obviously you're worried about temperature. So what I do then is I lift these two off. So I have two ventilated panels each side. And there it is. So your swarm's in the box. You can transport it anywhere you want. There's never an issue. You could even spray some water in through the grill if you were worried that it was getting a bit too hot in there. But basically, it's a really great tool. And it enables you to have another method of catching a swarm without having to put it in a hive straight away. I built it out of, I think it's 3mm ply. But it's really, really difficult to build because it's very fiddly. But I'll show you inside again. And here's the inside. You can see the ply I built it out of. You can now see in the bottom of the box, you can actually see a bit of wax and a tiny bit of bee comb there where it was built, where I had a swarm that was in there for about 5-6 hours. Yeah, there you go. That's what I do on the joints. Is it's mostly glued, as you can see, but I use tiny panel pins to secure it in, and then I overlap the corners with quadrants, and that then makes it really strong. And obviously the top piece with the carry handle is made out of, I think, a bit of 1/2 inch ply, or whatever you call it. I think 16mm ply. That gives it the initial strength right on top there, but the rest is very light. But because it's all screwed together, it really is a strong piece of kit, but it's fragile. You have to be careful with it. But there you go. And so we're going to use it now to put this baby in. So here's a nice swarm that I think has come from one of my cell builders. It's a pretty big one. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. I've got no hive for this at the moment. Well, I have, but it's not ready. So I'll put it in the box, and I'll try and film getting it in the box. Right, so I've got my swarm trapping box ready. I've got the top just pushed in to the side so I can slide it in after. And what is, I'll shake the majority of these bees in, and then I'll just close the door a little bit, and I'll just turn it and put it on the floor. And then what will happen is there'll be a bit of confusion for a while, but then a lot of the bees, because they're programmed, they cope with falling out of trees. They will have a quick stop, a quick pause, then they'll either start to fan, or they'll probably take off and abscond, or more than likely they'll all go into the box. It doesn't always happen, but most of the times they do. So I've also picked a time late in the evening. I know the weather's going to change tomorrow, so I'm sure the bees will know that it's really humid at the moment, which usually means stormy. So I think they'll probably find they'll be quite happy to get into a box and to be safe for the night. So there won't be any swarming tomorrow because the weather's going to go colder. So this is probably kind of a typical day where it's the really hot day we've had amongst days of not really warm. And it's hot and humid today, and there's lots of people have had bee swarms today. So anyway, getting back to the job in hand, we're going to just basically drop the swarm into the box, get the majority of it in. There'll be a bit of confusion, then I'll pick up the camera after and then show you what happens as I right the box. Also, just to explain, I've spent a bit of time clearing around the swarm with some secateurs, so I've got a bit of access. As usual this time of year, everything needs cutting back because it's spring's full on. I've got a lot of work to do here, as you can see, it all needs trimming. But you need to get easy access so you can get the bees in as cleanly as possible and save yourself a bit of time. Also, if you've got access to make the area underneath clear by putting a white sheet down or something like that, in this case I've got the bank covering, so I'm pretty happy that if there was a queen or a pile of bees loose here that I hadn't seen, I would see it quite easily. So here goes. Huge amount of bees in the box there. So they're all in the bottom there. Slide this back in. So I could technically just walk away with that, but there's a chance I haven't got the queen in. So I'm turning the box over now, and you can hear them all fall down. And now they're going to start to appear at the front. So I'll put that on the floor there, and you'll see what happens. So there's the rest of the bees that are still there. I may not have got the queen on this time, but if I did, great. And you'll see the bees will appear now at the front, and hopefully they'll start fanning. This is exactly what happens in nature when they fall out of a tree. Often you hear about people finding swarms in clusters, some on the floor, some on the wall, so some in shrubs, all different places where they fall. Often you'll see a shrub bent over, and so here's the one bee starting to fan. Look, you can see now. So the bees can come and go there. There's enough room to get in and out. Let's open it just a tiny bit more. There we are, that's all we need to do. And I'm sure the rest will make their way in soon enough. Very nice swarm. Here they go, all fanning now. So I must have got the queen in the box there. You'll see lots more fanning in a moment. What I'm going to do is give this other branch a good shake and just dislodge the last lot, and then they'll make their way down. Or they'll go the other way, one or the other. See if we can see a queen in there. She wasn't in there, I think she's in the box. Let's give these bees a bit of room. They're just starting to fly around a bit. Yeah. What I can do actually is I can put this box into the hedge here right next to where the swarm is, and I'm sure the rest are going to race in if I do that. It's a bit closer for them. There we are. And in they go, look, see? That's what they needed. With swarms you just have to be a bit changeable and adaptable if things change out when you're hiving them. All very nice. I think it's pretty sure that we've got a queen in there. If we haven't, she's in there somewhere on her way in, but I don't think she's out this way. I think she's already in the main pile, the main cluster. The main thing is as well, I haven't lost a swarm this way. I've got it in a box quickly so I can hive it last thing this evening. I can get a hive ready now, and everything will be fine and dandy, as they say. They're even fanning down there, look. Lots of fanning going on there. You can see the angle of the bees, they're all pointing in the same direction. And it's all very nice and pleasant. No butting off the face, all very happy. It's a completely natural reaction when you hive a swarm. It's like the bees' auto response is to basically pause, have a think, see if they can find their queen. If not, they often will go back to the nest that they were issued from. If you take the queen away, that's a proven thing. But if they start doing this and all fanning and going in the same area, same direction, it's pretty likely that we call this the march, where they all march in, but it's pretty likely that you've got the queen in there. There'll also be probably a virgin queen with this colony as well. Often when a swarm is issued, there is several virgin queens that often travel with the existing queen in case anything happens. We don't know whether it's a safety net, and often when the colony becomes established, they will kill the virgin queens, or one of the virgin queens will kill the adult queen. So it's a kind of natural selection thing that takes place afterwards. But if you imagine, bees aren't very defensive when they're in a swarm mode because they've got nothing to protect. There's no brood, there's no pollen, there's no larvae, there's nothing to protect except their queen, and they know they're more used to that queen if they're alive. We're now about 10 minutes after I first put this swarm into this box, and you can see they're all fanning like mad, looking very beautiful. There's a nice smell of Nazanoff. It's this lovely light fragrant smell of the pheromone they produce from under their bottoms. That's why they've all got their butts in the air, all fanning away. And they're all saying to the other bees, come on in, we're all in here now, it's all good. You look at the place up there where the swarm was originally, it's just a few bees now milling up and down. But that's good, they're all making their way down here, everything is good. So what I'll do is explain when you've got them all in, or it's dark, and you want to move it, you can even move this box as it is if you really wanted to, but obviously you want to get almost all the bees, or every single bee if you can. Often you'll just find a few on the front. You could just literally, if you want to move it to a place where you're going to install a hive, bees at this time have no memory. So whether you move it 5 foot or 10 foot or 100 foot, it doesn't matter a damn. So you'll put it in a box this evening, which I will do, and then the following morning they'll kind of get going. I'll stick a feeder on overnight as well, and then next day they just start from where they start off. So we're about 45 minutes now after I hive the swarm. They're actually a little bit slow going in today, but you can see they're virtually all in. There's nothing on the branch that they were on before. It's all gone. There's no other bees flying around, just a few on the front calling around. It is actually really, really warm this evening, so it's still about 25 degrees, and it's the warmest it's been here for a long, long time. Back to normal temperatures tomorrow and rain, so these bees will be happy that they're in a nice box. They'll be on nice new nice new foundation. They'll be given a feeder with a good 3 or 4 litres of thick syrup, and they'll probably start drawing comb overnight. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you later. Cheers.